Yeah, I think it has. Yeah, right. Let's transition. It's the fan phone in. Today we're going to be discussing, well, Luton 1, Plymouth 1, but the big talking point of the day is the derby match. We went to Watford and we lost 2-0, and it was a pretty shambolic game. Someone that was with me today at the game, and he's here to take your calls along with myself. It's my co host. He's looking very comfortable in that snooty thing. It's Mark Ryman. How are we getting on, Mark?
Yeah, I'm in my nighttime comfies because A, the football's making me depressed, and B, the players couldn't give a shit. So why should I? I'm absolutely shattered after a round trip to the allotments to watch that. Today, I guess a lot of it is predictable. You know, you go and watch Luton Town away this season. What more do you expect? Um, but yeah, it's the epitome of what's been going on. No fight, no desire, and to be perfectly honest, no intelligence either. I mean, some of those players look like they've had a full lobotomy before going on the pitch today. Some of the positional play was horrendous. Worth mentioning that I have to say that it's one of the worst refereeing performances I've seen in the first sort of 20-30 minutes,
Do you
particularly
think it
throughout
was
the
a
game.
pen? I thought it was a pen.
I did so I didn't at the time watching it, and watching it back, I think it could go either way. I think it was very soft, but I did say afterwards. Then he's touched it and given a pen. I think I take more umbrage with the lack of red card in the first 6 minutes. As Nordas would have been clean through. I don't think there's any reason why not. And I do think that if that had happened in the 60th or the 70th minute, it would have been a red card. I would say for the penalty that I don't want to take away from the absolutely appalling mess up between, I nearly used the F word, between both Anderson and Kaminsky. I mean, I don't know who to blame more, but it is almost hilarious how that ball was allowed to just sort of dribble slowly towards Kaminsky before anyone realised. And he nearly did it again with Makoto in the second half as well. Just absolutely awful. So, no getting away from that either. But I think it's important to point out the referee was shocking, but it's not the reason for our absolutely woeful performance for most of that game. And even when they gave us most of the game to play in the second half, we got towards their penalty area and didn't have a clue what to do with it.
Didn't have a
No
shot.
idea whatsoever.
Just wouldn't
Just
shoot.
wouldn't shoot. When they crossed it to nowhere. I think there was the odd bright spark. Isaiah Jones, for example, looked good. At least he runned at people, and Jacob Brown looked a little bit more lively when he came on. But still, I mean, it felt like we're going to need, another 2 hours there for us to have a shot on goal. Um, it never looked like it was coming, and it's been that way, hasn't it, for a while. And it just points to just a series of calamitous um, mess ups. Again, it's really hard not to use the F word. Um, Throughout this season, top to bottom, it has been the most needless and avoidable sink towards League One. And for me, it's probably the worst I've felt watching Luton go into games at the moment because it's so inevitable, home and away now. Um, it's Yeah, it's appalling. Watford deserved to win, but any half decent team would have given them a proper game. I don't feel like their defence was tested at all, and especially in the first half, for the first 5 minutes, you could see that they were. We could have got at them. Unfortunately, we didn't have the desire or the ability to do so. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm sure most people will feel very similarly. It'd be interesting to hear if anyone's got any positives at all. As I said,
I
Jones for me
doubt
and,
it.
and Makoto.
I
Yeah.
doubt it. I doubt there'll be any positive other than, like, yeah, Jones was all right. Makoso looks more well. He looked more like a professional footballer than Mads Anderson does. Like Mads
Yeah.
Anderson, the tugboat, and that was a big issue with the penalty. What Cal Naismith has done, And I pointed out in my post match with I think it was the Sheffield United game, as the ball went through and Cal stood in front of the player the whole way through because Kaminsky was so slow off his line. Cal stood and did not let that player pass. Whereas Mads Anderson did a sort of half-ass thing. He was like sort of half in front of him, letting him get around him. You can't do that. And Mads Anderson's a big boy. He's probably one of the biggest players we have. And
Yeah.
he was acting like he was the size of Liam Walsh. He was trying to get out of the way, not to get clattered by the striker. And then there's Kaminsky, who just doesn't come off his line. But the second goal, that is the biggest problem. And essentially, Chak Fatadze had the freedom of Vicarage Road to run at us. Like, he only had Bell to run at. All our two centre-backs, two of our three centre-backs, were behind him. What were they doing there?
Well,
that's what I don't understand.
We both pointed him out as their most dangerous player, didn't we, in the pre-match, and he was their only decent player at Kenilworth Road in the reverse. But you've got to question Bloomfield as well. I'm not being silly, but Walters has proved time and time again that he is a liability when it comes to defending. You look at the Oxford goals, for example, QPR game. You know, all right, the lad's a kid, although his pace is that of about a 45-year-old. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he's broken his other foot, but he is a liability positionally speaking. Isaiah Jones, while he's great going forward, is more of a winger than a wing back. Why on earth is Matt Bloomfield picking a three at the back in the first place? It worked to get in Sheffield United, great. And
it worked because Cal Naismith was there.
In the team.
Exactly.
Well, that's the whole point of that formation. The moment Cal Naismith is injured, and it also didn't work very well against Plymouth when we should have been far more on the front foot than we were. But, you know, neither here nor there. But it was made for that reason, as you said. He's out. We've got one fit central defender who, as you said, is got to be the slowest in the league. And we still go for the three at the back. That's a Rob Edwards tactic right there, right? That's exactly what we were moaning about with Rob Edwards, is that he's refusing to change the system to suit the players he's got available to him. For me, that's as much on Matt Bloomfield as it is on Walters. And it's not the first time he did it, is it? I mean, he did it for the goal, but it was time and time again that he had the half of Vicarage Road to run into, because players positionally didn't know where they were, or they were defending far too high up, or out of position. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it absolutely ridiculous, and such a waste of a game. I think there's 12 games left now, but we should. This is a fan phone in, so we should take some calls. And everyone's queuing up in the green room. So I think it was Simon first, then Matt, and then Lewis, and then Ash. And listen, guys, we're going to keep these nice, short, and sweet because, well, hopefully, unlike last week, hopefully people will actually come and want to talk, as opposed to last week where it was just me prattling on in the absence of Ryman, Kate, and callers. So let's bring our first caller in.
Bring him in.
Here we go.
Evening, Si.
Yeah,
it's an absolute shit show, mate. I'm not all right. This is an absolute disgrace from top to bottom. I'm sick of it.
We are terrible. We are truly terrible. It's like I know how it's happened. I know how we've got to this point, but the fact that it's been allowed to get to this point is just, it blows my mind. We don't expect much as Luton Town fans over all the years supporting them, yeah? But we expect the lads to turn up and at least fight against Watford. I don't think that's really too much to ask. It's terrible. It really is, lads.
Yeah. I think there's two words that can describe our season from players, management, and the board, and that's arrogance and complacency. And there's two words I would never usually have associated with Luton Town, but it stinks of it.
I just can't get over it. Honestly, I'm looking at what's in front of me today, and I'm looking at the January window. Why did we go for a winger focused recruitment? Yeah, to clearly implement this whatever style and go straight back to what's not been working all season. Are you telling me that you've abandoned it because you didn't get Richard Kone? Was everything relying on him? And if that was the case, why are you doing add-on deals? Why are you not just paying the lump sum that the club want? There was clearly wiggle room in this deal. You don't go back and forth that long if there isn't some kind of agreeable position between the clubs. Instead, it looks like we've messed around again, saying, yeah, you can have half the house now and half the house if things work out. It's pathetic, mate. It's pathetic.
Well, I mean,
I don't think we were in for Kone.
No,
I've been told we
I don't
weren't in
think
for
we were.
Kone.
Well,
It was
we
agent
might
talk.
have been in for him, but I don't know whether it was. I don't think it was to the extent that it's been publicised. But still, the fact is that we did need somebody who can find the back of the net, and we didn't sign someone who did. We've got an unknown from Norway who's currently at the start of his pre-season, who was just in a relegation battle and scored a very modest amount of goals. So we definitely did need a number 9 who's in confidence, who's in form, which is easier said than done in the January transfer window, but it's still better than going down to League One. I think, regardless, I think that was the biggest problem with that window. But you're right, Si, that we clearly recruited for a 4-2-3-1 or that like thereof. And then we've reverted back because it worked pretty well against Sheffield United. And then that's it. Regardless, now it seemed to work a bit. So we're just going to use that every single time and not play to our strengths or not pay any attention to who we've got available or what the opposition is like. I mean, it's exactly the same as when we had a good couple of games against Watford and Sunderland under Edwards and then just played that system regardless, even though it didn't work again at all until he got the boot. It's exactly the same problem.
I've been properly fuming about this game all day. But and it feels like I was talking to Ollie. I'm messaging him with me. Like, this is ridiculous. So whatever I said, I was fuming. I'm still fuming now. What, 8 hours later? It's not good. I can take losing. I can take it. But what's happened to us is just completely unacceptable. I'm really sorry. When we reached the Premier League, that was supposed to be a catalyst for us. It was supposed to be a path to sustainable, regular, even championship football. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be the path to that level, to get the stadium done and then to compete again at the top. The club were the ones themselves who set the fan expectations this season. As much as they say, oh, stick with us, blah, blah, blah. Nah, none of that is just hitting anymore. You are the ones who set our expectations. You are the one who has made all us fans look like complete donkeys. We are a laughing stock. We are a laughing stock to the football world right now.
Quite right. We are a laughing stock. And to make matters worse, my cousin's a Watford fan and just sent me a screen grab of the table. It was like going down. I was like, I know we're going down. This is awful. But look, I've been accepting it for weeks now. And I urge everyone else to accept it. I mean, other than the players. Like,
They've been accepting it since the start of the season.
Well, what I said in my post-match is I think the players should donate their salaries, like for every loss. Donate all their salary to, they should be forced to donate their salaries. Because right now, their performances aren't acceptable in the slightest.
It's just grim.
Yeah.
It's so grim. And to think how much money, say someone who couldn't have the luxury of getting a season ticket because the waiting list is insane. Imagine that person who's followed the club away all season and the amount of money they have spent to do so. I think it's disgusting, to be honest.
So I saw John Piper at half time. He was crestfallen, and the BBC actually did an interview with him. It's up on an article about where it's gone wrong on BBC, and Piper is sad. It's a real shame. He's been following the club for 61 years now. And the way the players have been playing, they're treating the fans like Piper, Kev Harper. There are loads of fans that go home and away each week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the ability to go away to games. Like today was a rare one for me. But people like Kev Harper and John Piper, they're being taken for mugs by the players. It's disgraceful.
It's beyond the point now. I don't want to see you lot walking up and giving that half-hearted clap. It bugs me at this point. I think the whole aspect of the club right now is wrong. I think it's wrong at the top. I think it's wrong in our transfer strategy. It's even wrong down to things like social media and the way the club are projecting themselves on there. I know the social media team have got a job to do, but no offense, lads, I don't want to see videos of the last time we beat Watford right now, because that's just like a fantasy land at the minute. I want to see performances on the pitch now. I don't want nostalgia right now. You've not earned it.
Very true. Very true.
I would say the social media team have got the job of trying to polish a turd, haven't they, at the moment? I mean,
Absolutely. I know they're just doing as directed. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like it's a colossal jinx.
Yeah. I would advise anybody, I mean, when it comes to social media stuff, particularly to listen to the Three Counties interviews all the time rather than the club ones if they want some more pressing questions. And talking of that, and I know we've got to move on because we've got lots of people waiting, but
Indeed.
Just really quickly, what do you place any blame on this on Bloomfield?
It's hard, yeah, due to the circumstances he's come into. I think we should have done something. I've said it a million times after Middlesbrough. That should have been the catalyst. That should have been the point. You make the change, and then you've got somewhat of a chance of salvaging the season. Waited way too long. Bloomfield ain't going to get sacked. Look how long the club stuck with Edwards for. I'm not being funny. The club are going to be like, right, he's here now. He's going to be here next season, whether that's League One or the Championship, and that's it.
Yeah. That's fair. Like I think he gets a year, at least until we're in a League One relegation battle and staring down the barrel of League Two.
One final point, because I know that there's people queuing up to get on. Thomas Kaminsky, why are you so scared of claiming a ball? Why are you so scared of coming off your line to claim a ball? Why are you so scared to talk to your defenders? What has happened to you? No offense, mate.
He's conceded 100 goals. He's conceded 100 goals in a year.
You get away with being a superior shot stopper in the Premier League because you face so many damn shots. But when you're in the Championship and you don't command your area, you are asking for trouble. And that's exactly what's happened.
Well said. Well said. Thanks, Si. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no worries, guys.
Have a good evening. Right. Well, I feel it was Matt next. I feel like with Kaminsky though, he's damaged. Like our defense, our entire team. When you lose that much, and when you concede that many goals, it damages you irrevocably. There's no coming back from it, and that is why any player that's touched the Premier League has to go in the summer. They have to all be cut from the team, sold, flogged. Baptiste. We haven't even talked about Baptiste. The glue factory wouldn't even take the guy.
I mean, the whole Baptiste situation is ridiculous. The fact that, it's Baptiste that replaced Ross Barkley is almost laughable. But, having your marquee midfield signing, or what turned out to be your marquee midfield signing, because apart from Liam Walsh, who's got an even worse injury record than him, we didn't sign anyone else in that summer window who has got an appalling injury record, and hoping that he is going to be your kind of main creative outlet just says everything really about how poorly prepared we were for the season. And I think as the window went on, we were start thinking, all right, we could probably do with a few more signings now. Come on then, where's the other signings? And it just never materialized. I mean, he obviously nearly got himself injured against Plymouth. It's worth saying I actually think he played well for the 10-15 minutes he was on the pitch. It's probably our best spell in the game, but it's laughable. It's laughable, and it's absolutely crazy, negligent from the club, and from a player point of view, he's earning top dollar to just basically lay down on a treatment table.
It's all right for some, isn't it? I could do that job.
Yeah, I think most of us could, to be fair. Didn't have to play any football.
Yeah, it's like that Brazilian player that made a career out of being a fake footballer, if you've heard that story.
Yeah, I do. I know the one you mean. I can't remember his name. I thought you were going to say, what's his name? The Man City third choice, the ex-Derby goalkeeper as well.
Stuart Taylor. Scott Carson.
Scott Carson.
Yeah, Scott Carson has actually played football.
He has played football, yeah.
Played a lot of football for Derby. And he's played a bit for Man City as well, at the ripe old age of 50. But,
yeah. There we go. Right.
Shocking.
We got Matt.
Yeah, we got Matt. Evening, Matt.
Good evening. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah. Are we going down, Matt?
Yeah, I think I've finally accepted the reality.
It's good. Accepting it means you'll be happier in your mind, because it can be very depressing when you're constantly counting how many points are left to play for, and if we beat Pompey, if we beat Hull, if we beat Derby, then we're out of it, right? If we draw with Burnley away, if we get a result against Leeds at home, then we can get out of it. It's the best thing to accept it for every fan's mental state, because I know football can really play on people's mental health. And I'm talking about actual mental health. I'm not talking about Rob Edwards like feigning being dishevelled to get a few sympathies from the fans. Well, So, yeah, I'm glad you've accepted it, Matt. Were you at the game today? What did you think?
No, I didn't go today. I couldn't get a ticket because I've not been to enough away games, but quite glad I didn't, because I'd have been really angry again, like I was the last time we went to Vicarage Road. I think we'd be top of the league if the only team we had to beat was ourselves.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, we just shoot ourselves in the foot every time.
Yeah, we would.
Whether it's not being clinical, Sheffield United, whether it's piss poor defending Plymouth, or whether it's piss poor decision making Watford. Because ultimately, there was so many bad decisions today, it's unreal. And it's not just the defence, it's not just Anderson not clearing it into Rose Ed. Isaiah Jones, when you get the ball 12 yards from goal, why are you trying a worldie? You've got time to bring it down, pick your spot. It's just poor decisions all over. Footballers making stupid decisions.
Yeah, we were talking about this in terms of set pieces as well, and like it was getting so frustrating, and the whole away end were getting so frustrated with the endless, conversation and around corners and free kicks. I know it happened against Plymouth as well, and just Walsh or Doughty getting in the other one's way. The amount of players that were all occupying the same space as well. I mean, it boggles the mind in terms of what they're doing in training, but also, having some sort of set piece plan, which doesn't involve, let's pass it to each other a couple of times and wait for the wall or the first defender to get out so much that we don't have an angle anymore. It's almost like they planned what's the worst thing we could do with this and then do it. And I think we all concluded when we were walking back that the reason why they're doing it is that in training they're playing against our defenders, and our defenders have no interest in closing down shots and balls. So that obviously it works. That's all I can surmise as to why it was happening.
Talk about the training. I don't know whether you saw the video they put out, probably a few months
No.
ago, where there was like clips from training. And they were had a ball on the right. Someone puts a cross in. Adebayo runs in, smashes it into the goal. There's no defence, and then you hear in the background, "Great cross, great goal." There's no defenders. I could score that. I could cross that. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. If that's how they train attacks, by just having no defence and a goalkeeper that's in the goal, it doesn't replicate a game situation at all.
Be fair,
It's a
Matt, I'm
waste.
surprised Adebayo scored that, but yeah, I get your point.
It's a waste of time. But the decision making is crazy. Like even Jones, when he chased that ball down to the corner, no one thought he was going to keep it in, and he did. And he had all the time in the world. And instead of picking out a Luton player, he sticks it straight to a Watford player. It's like the crosses are hitting, "I hope I find one of my teammates," rather than "I am going to find one of my teammates." I wouldn't have even relied on us to score their second goal. Because rather than putting it across the goal line for him to tap in, we'd have probably tried to cut it back to the penalty spot where nobody would have been.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's exactly right. That's why I said at the start, it feels like everyone's collective IQ is just halved at the start of games. Just no footballing intelligence whatsoever on show on the pitch.
No. And you might not remember. You might not remember.
As you
this.
said.
You might not remember this, but the first time I phoned in and spoke to you guys, I said the worst thing that happened to us was getting promoted to the Premier League. I know that loads of people probably thought, "What is this guy talking about?" But I genuinely believe it, because we've gone from having a team of people who would run through brick walls for the club, for their teammates, for the fans, for the badge. And now we've got players with bigger wages, bigger egos, and they're not the people you want in this situation, because they don't care. They don't care about the club. They don't owe us anything. All those players that came in under Nathan Jones probably thought they owed the club something, because they've taken them from League Two to League One to the Championship. They were committed. These players aren't. None of them. Not one of them. I would get rid of all of them in the summer. Have a complete restart.
I'm with you on that.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can. I think it wasn't the worst thing for the club. I think it's the worst thing for the board was getting promoted to the Premier League. I genuinely think that's part of the problem. But you're right. Now we're in the situation we're in. But I think that there's been so much. No, this is the Luton way, and we can still do things the Luton way, the way we've always been doing it, regardless, without any adapting and and changing things proactively. That it's got us into the mess we're in. I think there's no facet of the club that is blame free, none whatsoever. But I do think that it all has to come from the top, right? And some of the decisions since January transfer window in the Premier League have been appalling from the top.
Yeah, speaking of which, where is Hashioka these days?
Yeah, not on the bench, was he?
No, hasn't been for the past couple of games. Well, good thing
Yeah.
that January window went well, didn't it? Matt, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Loads of callers. We'll get through to everyone. Thank you for joining us,
No
mate.
worries. Take care.
Take care.
Cheers, bub.
Right, so we have...
some really interesting comments as well. Sorry, while you were just getting someone in, I was just going to say, I mean, Phil says, hate to say it, but Mick Harford and the recruitment team aren't blameless. Agree. They have recommended shit and injured players for at least 3 windows. Yeah, absolutely. The recruitment team, taking on players that are, unknowns. Someone like Walters coming in, for example. Which again is fine if it's part of building your squad, but as your only kind of right-sided option after Ogbene leaves is crazy. So I agree with that. So yeah, it's absolutely mad, some of the points. And also someone else has said, I can't find the comment now. Luke Berry and Danny Hilton were there. I saw Luke Berry actually go into the ground.
Yeah, you pointed them out to me.
Yeah, boy, could we have done with someone like him talking to people that care about the club and can find a goal. Right, there we go.
I wonder how they got their tickets. They haven't been to 7 away games, have they? They're definitely not diamond ticket holders.
Yeah, it's still showing a bit more commitment than the players on the pitch.
Yeah, true. Just before we bring in Ash, One of the best things that someone said to me, one of my mates, he said, when Darbo missed that penalty and the club got promoted to the Premier League, they should have just folded the club. And I'm inclined to agree, to us. Like, promotion to the Premier League is one of the worst things. And it's all gone downhill since that. None of this Billy Big Bollocks shit, because everything we've done has become
The irony.
Billy Big Bollocks, hasn't it? Trying to change our style of play from players that graft to players that fancy tippy-tappy. And
Well, I don't think it's even trying to do. I think it's the lack of plan of anything. It's the last minute everything. You say that, but we weren't really recruiting those players either. It was all just hot. All our signings are just random. All of them. Like,
very
they don't
scattergun.
fit into any. Yeah, completely right. Anyway, let's get Ash in before I go off on yet another rant.
Evening, Ash. How are you getting on, mate?
I just want to say you both are doing an excellent job as always.
Oh, thank you. It's
Thanks,
a tough
mate.
one this evening. Very tough.
It's a tough one because
It's
if
hard.
you notice, the first thing I would like to say is about the penalty. Do you notice it's a bit similar to the second goal, running down that end and scoring sort of thing? It looks it's like they didn't have a clue that they have to defend that, and I'm just a bit upset with everything, really. I was a little bit positive about the game on last week, Wednesday, because I was on holiday last week, so I'm a bit confused on that one. Sorry about that. Yeah, Wednesday night was looked very positive, but Watford game I was disappointed.
Yeah, I think it all stems from lack of communication. Obviously, Cal's not in the team, but if you're relying on one player who is just a lone player this January to do all the communicating, that's a terrifying sign. But you're right, it stems from the same thing, and you could see that despite the ridiculous way in which we conceded against a team that never looked like scoring before that in the Plymouth game, you know, Cal ran the defence at least. You know, you didn't see us throwing away the ball. We didn't see us occupying the same space, you know, defensively, apart from that cross, of course, and Doughty's clearance prior to it. Yeah, we look solid. But it's worrying that you need just that person.
Are you both disappointed about the way our recruitment is with our defence? It's like I asked for 3 players. That's all I asked for. And you know what I asked for? I asked for a left back and a right back and a striker. Why couldn't we have those 3 and stay up?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Ash, and I'm sure Ollie will say the same as well.
Yeah,
I think
we needed a left back and a right back. We did. We didn't need Josh Bowler. Didn't need to bring in him. We could have brought in a left back or right back from the Premier League.
Yeah.
No, we had to bring in Josh Bowler for this system that we're not playing anymore.
Can I talk about something else as well?
Of course, mate.
Please do.
I can't go into too much detail, but always in the past, I've been supporting Luton for a long time. But every time I used to go when I was younger, I used to always talk about the brands of our shirts to the commercial side. And, why can't we have Nike sponsoring us or Adidas sponsoring us?
So,
they're very negative. The brand Luton is very negative.
Mm-hmm. So I actually spoke to Kieran Maguire about this at the beginning of the season. Did a whole podcast and interview with him. Then ended up with a quiz. The reason why we don't have Nike or Adidas is because Luton Town would be so low priority for those 2 brands, whereas with Umbro we're like tier 2, tier 3, but with Adidas or Nike we'd be tier 4, 5, and we would literally just be getting the stock shirt with the Luton Town badge put on it, whereas we get some option of branding with Umbro. Like the top tier for like Nike is like the Brazil national team, Chelsea, the really big teams, and then the teams like Luton signing a new brand and obviously paying bugger all.
I'm just want to talk about like the Pepper Trucks shirt. It's amazing.
Brilliant shirt. Brilliant shirt.
It's like, how
Yeah.
long? It's like, I'm nearly going to be 48 soon. When am I going to be? I've got a Bedford Trucks shirt, but I would like to buy the tracksuit. I would like to buy a few, but they are so. I like Ambro, but it's not my cup of tea. I thought Fila was okay a bit, but I'm just saying what they are doing is they're destroying Luton basically, because the youngsters are not going to support Luton in the future. The way they are just buying injury-prone players. And that's where my issue is. I've got a younger son as well, and all I'm saying is that how do I explain to him? It's our culture, it's our blood, it's our DNA. But the commercial side doesn't. They don't seem to care about our feelings. Like with this team, look, I'm sure that they are listening to us on here. Look, all I asked was for 3 players, and they couldn't. They just do the opposite of what I say, basically. And
They
I
got they
feel
got a
sorry
lot. They got a left winger, a right winger, and a striker. 1 out of 3
Yeah.
isn't so bad, is it?
Yeah, but they're not the ones we need to stay up in.
No, of course not.
We are
Right.
damaging brains of these kids, basically. These kids are confident kids who have come from another team. And what we need 2 left back and the right back and the striker who've got pay them the money and get us out of the trouble. But they put these poor kids, and they're going to get booed end of the season, called losers. And if you look at what's his name, Bayor, what his name is, if you look how he got discriminated for scoring all those goals, and Luton fans having a go at him for not scoring more last season, now you can tell he looks like he's in depression, and he doesn't look well. And all I'm trying to say is that I'm just being blank now. It's in my DNA to support Luton. I don't show off about it, but yeah, I do. But I do really care. Like, both of you are just like me. You love the team, and all I'm saying is, I think against Portsmouth we could beat them. But the problem is, it depends who we got in defence. Are the players happy? I think it's a mental game as well. And the coach we got at the moment, I think he needs to pull his socks off or just leave the club. I know I'm being really rude here, but he needs to pull his socks up and sort that defence out. But the problem is, when you don't have no Naismith, this is the same problem we're having before, because we don't have the players. We don't have a left back or right back, and a really experienced striker. So we're always going to blame the manager when
we got 2 experienced strikers, but they're just so wildly out of form. I mean, you mentioned Adebayo.
Yeah.
I mean, he is an absolute shadow of himself, but we're not helping him. We're not doing him any favors by starting him against Plymouth or playing him in any part in this game as well. I'm not being silly, but that was always going to happen when he came on. I said to the guy next to me, I'm willing to bet you money he doesn't touch the ball, and I wasn't far off. And this is the thing.
Touched his studs.
He should definitely play against Portsmouth.
What,
Adebayo? Play against and Cardiff. The lower league, really low teams at the bottom.
He's not gonna suddenly get form. I think at this point he's not gonna suddenly find it. We tried that and tried it again. He is so woefully out of form. And look, I think that my issue, I don't think we're going to win another game this season, if I'm brutally honest, because I cannot see where the goals are coming from. I just can't see us scoring more than one goal a game.
Fans. I really feel sorry for the fans, especially the ones near the F stand up the top there. I feel sorry for them because they're watching from another angle, basically, and I'm watching from the other angle. Everyone's watching from different angles of the game, and all these guys, they give up their time. They love the club. They could go and do something else with their lives. And it's just the recruiting side is really bad. And I think you're 100% right. I think Gary Sweet needs to get someone in to sort this out, basically, because I think it could get worse.
It can indeed, Ash. Ash, we're going to go to our next caller. Thank you very much for joining us, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, both of you.
Bye, Ash.
Cheers, Ash.
Thank you. Bye now.
Yeah, he's right. It can get worse. It can. It's that Mick McCarthy.
Mick McCarthy.
It's that Mick McCarthy. He's like, it can't get worse. Oh, it can. Yeah. What was the point? I was gonna make a point actually. About kids going away from supporting football. Well, look, football's ubiquitous, isn't it? It's always on TV. You go to school and you say, I support Luton Town, and kids go, ha ha, you support a rubbish team. Get a better team. So then you want to start supporting, well, when we were younger, it was Man United, wasn't it? Because Man United won everything. But regardless, still supported Luton.
We still supported Luton through the Lenny Lawrence era, so you know
those years. I'd kill for Lenny Lawrence right now. I'd kill for the likes of David Oldfield, Matty Spring.
Oh yeah, 100%. Some of
Kim
those players,
Grant.
Not...
I'd take all these players. Phil Gray. Paul Showler. I was talking to you about Showler earlier.
Showler.
Yeah, because I was there for that goal against Watford. I love Showler. I'd kill for those types of players right now. Absolutely kill for them, because those players they gave their all, you know, they did. They were fantastic.
Yeah. Should we get Lewis in?
Let's get him in. Are you gonna get him in, or should I get him in?
I've got him in.
Get Lewis. Him in. He's already in.
How's it going?
Hello, boys.
You sound happy.
I've just accepted life, mate. You just got to accept it.
I told you, if you accept it, you will be happier.
I urge all people to accept it, because you get like this good bit of energy inside you, and you just realise, you know what, League One, look what could potentially happen. Could we go back up? You know? And then you start feeling positive.
Could we be in a relegation battle this time next year?
Who knows? It's fantastic.
Anything can happen. Look, so I said that in my Plymouth Post match. I started off by saying, just accept it. And editor Kate said to me, oh, that's far too depressing. Kate, make yourself known in the comments. I think it's good to give people a dose of reality, to be honest. So Lewis, you were there today. What was your take?
Oh, the game was done and dusted the moment Watford got the penalty, because we all know our group of players, their mentality, their lack of confidence is just not there. We do not have a team that has any confidence in themselves when they go 1-0 down to come back into a game and get a point, or even better, win the game. So how can I, as a fan, believe in these group of players? How sad is that, by the way? I, as a fan, just have lost the belief that my team can't come back from a losing position. It's so sad.
When's the last time you felt like that, Lewis? Because I've been scratching my head all day thinking I can't remember the last time I felt that negative and hopeless about our football team in the way you just said.
Well, I'm going to sound really bad here when I say this, but I'm a young boy, you see. I'm only 25, so I've only seen the good side of Luton.
You're a wee nipper.
So, unfortunately, I don't really remember too much of the conference days.
So you've never felt like this. What was your first season?
My mum took me when I was about 3 years old. So when we were last in the championship.
You won't remember that.
No, so I don't remember that. And then I went back to playing football. So from like 4 till like 13, I was playing. So I didn't really go to Luton because I was too busy playing football. So then my first season back, and I've stayed a season ticket holder since, was the year we won promotion out of non-league. And funny enough, we've just had a great, it's been a lovely journey. But now I'm getting the bad side of it. And that's why I think I'm taking it a little bit difficult this season, because it's like, hang on a minute, I'm not used to this. Why are we losing so many games? But it's been a massive learning curve, and I've learned that you need to enjoy the good moments when they do come and take full advantage.
Yeah. Well, myself and Mark, we're significantly older.
Much older.
This would be my 7th relegation. And the first season I started going, I don't remember my first game. And we were discussing this, weren't we, while we were waiting for Phil and Wedge. I can't remember my first game. But my first memory of supporting Luton Town was getting relegated. But this is without doubt the worst. Well, we haven't been relegated, but this is without doubt the worst relegation we've probably ever had. In my time supporting the club, like this would be our 7th, and it's pretty bad. My dad's seen quite a few. You know, my dad's been going since 1959, and he saw us go from like Division 1 to Div 4, like straight down. Yeah, like I can't think of the last time I felt like this. Probably no, not even the minus 30. I accepted it before. Like as soon as that penalty came down, I accepted it, and I knew.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So I was going to say to Lewis, I mean, and Phil said this on the way back from the game, is that every relegation we've experienced, and a lot of them in the earlier days as well, had an asterisk by it, right? Because of financial absolute mess or points deductions and everything else. And I think for me, it feels a little bit like, although the debacles off the field aren't quite as mad as they were, that second season in the Championship when Mike Newell sort of had his whole thing, his whole sexist statement, and then all the players got sold, and we never saw any of the money. But
everything went wrong.
Everything went wrong, and it felt like I felt the first time sort of going to games or watching games, thinking there's no way we're picking up any points from it. So you know, that feeling. Although again, there's a big asterisk next to that relegation, of course, with everything off the field, and then.
Well, we only won 4 games after Sol Davis had the stroke. We only won 4 games.
Maybe that's it as well. You know, obviously there's some parallels.
We sold Howard, we sold Vine.
Yeah, saw none of it.
Foley gone. Edwards went. Everyone went.
Yeah. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough watch.
Yeah, it's probably
everything you're saying, I have to watch on a DVD.
It's called a VHS.
No, it was DVDs in the 2000s. It was DVDs were out by then. Yeah. But Lewis, what do we do, mate? What do we do? Do we attack Pompey next game? Obviously we got to try and get out of it. Do you think the players? Okay, as a former player, I know you didn't play at this level, but the level you used to play at, what do you think is going through the players' minds right now? Do you think they're thinking to themselves, "Oh God, we're so shit"?
They're just looking for, so. Funny enough, you've already mentioned it. You've spoken to Luke Berry. You saw Luke Berry and Danny Hilton. I spoke to Luke Berry on the way to the car park because he parked his car where we parked our car today, and I spoke to him and I said, how do we get out of this? I asked him because obviously professional footballer knows the football club inside out, and he just says you're just praying for a win. You just want something to go for you. It doesn't matter how you get it. You're just trying to get that win, and that's what it kind of looks like we're trying our best to do, but it just doesn't look like we're getting there. If I'm Matt Bloomfield and if I'm the manager of Luton Town, I just play the way I want to play, because this 3 at the back system, I think it only relies if Cal Naismith is fit, and that says a lot to me. So if he isn't fit, we've got no choice to play a back 4, and that's what it should have been today. It should have been a back 4. I know we've seen improvements, but only because Cal Naismith is in the starting 11. I don't think we see those improvements if it weren't for him, because that leadership, the organisation, how he's so good on the ball, just winning the battles, he knows how to do that system inside out. However, the back 4, that's what Bloomfield wants to do. He wants to play this way next season. So why doesn't he just play that? And also, we recruited to play with a 4 at the back system. Why bring Ali and Bola to the football club if you're going to result to play a back 3? It don't make any sense to me. So play the system you want to play. And if the players can't do it, leave them out. Don't play them. Because if they can't do what you want them to do, leave them out and play the youth players. You've got nothing to lose now. We're getting relegated.
I think that the problem was why he sort of chucked in the 4 at the back system is because we haven't got any fullbacks. Like he tried it with Walters. Walters was terrible. I think he tried it with Hashi, didn't he? Hashi wasn't good enough either. Both were absolutely terrible. And there's no left back. Well, Bell can't play left back. I'd play Doughty left back, but then you lose Doughty's abilities upfield. Isaiah Jones can't play right back. He has to play right wing back. It's
The mess.
yeah, it's a mess.
It's almost like there was no recruitment plan.
So Mick Harford was busy watching the pigeons instead of looking at players. Oh, Mick. Oh,
Well,
Mick.
regards to the right back and left back, yeah. For me, as someone who has played as a right back, there is not much difference between right wing back and right back. Okay, sometimes it depends what type of system you're playing. If you're playing right back in a diamond, you don't have the protection anyway. So that's like playing as a right wing back because you've got to progress and use the width. So I do think Jones can play as a right back. I do think Walters can play as a right back, and I do think Hashi can play as a right back. Okay, they're not great at that position, but I rather they play that position rather than Walters play as a right-sided centre-back when he's not comfortable playing in that role. I rather he play a role that he actually does know.
Yeah, exactly. It comes back to the square pegs and square holes, doesn't it? And that is something that Rob Edwards was guilty of. And I think today, playing a three at the back, like as soon as we saw the form, we saw the lineup today, Ryman, when we were walking to the ground, we were like, yeah, why are we doing a three at the back?
Yeah, and also, Lewis, what about the other end of the pitch? Because, we've talked about this a couple of times, but where the hell are the goals coming from? Because that's just as concerning, right?
Yeah, 100%. Even the set pieces, we don't even look like we can score from set pieces. No. I don't, like, you saw it today, like, Walsh keeps going short with Alfie, and then it's not a ball whipped in with purpose. Like, normally, I know, like, Alfie got sometimes a lot of stick last year in the first part of the season when he was just floating the ball in. But at least you knew what we were trying to do, and we were having half chances from doing it. But now we don't look like we're scoring from set pieces. And Matt Bloomfield did bring someone in. He brought in a set piece analyst in because Wickham scored plenty of goals from set pieces, and we're not seeing the same effect. So, yeah, for me that does it's very strange. And then in terms of how we are attacking that final ball, the final product, like Isaiah Jones today, full of pace, full of energy, but that final ball just lacks it. And I kind of just realised that's probably why he's playing for Luton, because if he had that final product, he won't be playing for Luton, that's for sure. So yeah, we're not doing the basics in either box.
Yeah, look, it needs a wholesale clear out in the summer. We've already agreed on that. Lewis, we'll leave it there. Just do you want to plug your channel before we boot you out the call?
Oh, go on then, sure.
Go on.
Subscribe, Lewis Williams, live streaming coming soon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wonderful. We'll put your channel in the chat. Thank you very much, Lewis. Appreciate it, mate. Everyone, I compel you all. Well, Lewis has like 4 times. Well, no, double the subscribers that we have on this channel. Just a quick plug to our own channel as well. Subscribe if you're here and you're not subscribed already. Remember, we do Championship as well as Luton Town content. We have a good time with it, and we'll still be doing Championship content even when Luton Town are in League One. Yes.
Yeah.
And Editor Kate has stuck Lewis's channel in the chat there. EFL and Luton Town stuff. Go check out Lewis. Right. Who we got for our final caller? Got Tyler.
Tyler. Right, I'll drag him in.
Oh, I've already dragged him in. I'm way ahead of you.
Oh, look at this. No use for me.
Well, you can talk
also,
to Tyler.
By the way, I apologise for how red my face is getting. On reflection, this was quite a warm thing to be wearing, and it's quite warm in here tonight. So I'm just aware that I'm looking more and more like a beetroot as the phone in went in. But something amusing at least to come out of today. Tyler, anyway, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good. How are you guys? You all good?
Doing all right.
in the acceptance phase, I think is where we're at, which is
Accepted.
the final stage.
Yeah, it's the 5
in
stages
fact.
of grief, isn't it?
Yeah, we're there, and then obviously relegation is the last thing. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I'm like you guys. I've accepted it for weeks. To me, it feels like the back end of the Premier League last year, where it's just a repetitive cycle week upon week, and you just feel it's a matter of time, really. You look at stuff in the game; it's just the same thing, isn't it? Every week, there's a few decent individual performances, but as a team, it's just not good. And looking at the game today, as soon as I saw that back three, I knew we weren't going to get nothing out of the game anyway going into it. But that was just a nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, and I tend to agree in terms of individual performances. But what is it with part performances? How many times in recent games have we had a really good 3 minutes at the start of a game? This game, the Sunderland game, even for the first 2 minutes, I'd argue we were pretty good. Came out of the traps pretty quickly, and Sheffield United's the only one we really carried it on. But how many times have we come out in a game, played well, and then an opposition just has to have one single attack, and then we go, oh my God, they might score. I didn't know the ball could go that end of the pitch as well, and just mentally collapse. It's utterly ridiculous. No 90-minute players in that team. None.
No, not at all. And the thing is, like you say, a lot of games this season, even early on in the season, it's been like that throughout the whole season. It's just when any team goes forward, that you just worry every single time because we leave so much space inside and outside for players to run into, and it's just like they're going to have them chances, and Watford, I don't even think they played overly great. They just took their chances really, and it could have been more. And because we were just so bad and just the same old lackluster away performance.
No, very
Yeah, I
true.
mean,
Very true.
particularly
Look, I was saying, if it wasn't for the mistake of letting Chak Fatadze run at us without any defence, and the mistake from Anderson and Kaminsky for the pen, that was a 0-0 game in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that's the thing about these derby games, especially in the recent years. It's always the team that's at home tends to win, and the first goal, obviously they got it, and from there on in they were just going to win, just with how the history books is with this fixture in the recent years, like I say. So yeah, just disappointing again, but it's just got to that stage where we're just all immune to it, and I wish we could simulate the season like it was FIFA or something.
It just skipped to the end. A Football Manager.
Yeah, all
to
that.
the end. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, none of us, I think, thought we'd get much from Vicarage Road today. Even before the lineup came out, I think it was always going to be a tough ask. But it doesn't excuse that from the players. That's the fans' mentality, which we've got justification for having that mentality for the absolute shit show that we've had to pay and watch all season. But, football players that are supposedly, at least, training for the biggest game in the season, as the derby always is, regardless of league position, you would expect them to come out with a little bit more fight. It felt like they had exactly the same viewpoint. Well, we're not getting anything from this anyway. Same at Sunderland. Felt exactly the same in most away games, I'd argue, this season. That the towel was thrown in before we'd even got started, or as I said previously, maybe 5 minutes in. That mentality, I don't know whether it is just a losing mentality and it's a lack of confidence, or whether it's what Ollie, you guys were saying earlier, is just players just don't give a shit.
No, they know they're going to get moves. Like they'll go elsewhere. They'll be like, yeah, my agent will get me out of here. I'm a footballer, get me out of here. If that's a TV program, isn't it? It's horrendous. It's I don't know why. I don't know how they don't have any pride in their work. That's the thing. Tyler, so I saw your vlog today. What pub were you in?
It's basically, I'm in North London at the moment, and I've been for a good few months now. So it's just one there. it took them about 10 minutes to turn on the game. But yeah, I sort of missed the Nordas moment. But yeah, I was just that's where I was for it, and it was all right, to be fair.
Yeah, nice. Well, you know, you didn't miss too much, and
No,
it meant you
No.
could, you know, have a drink while you're watching it. So not so bad.
Yeah.
Not so bad. Tyler, do you want to tell everyone where people can find you, and we'll get your channel in the chat as well.
yeah, no worries, guys. Just T Boys TV, like it says there. You'll be able to find it. You know, like mentioned, I did a vlog today, and I did a match reaction after as well. So check that out, and then in probably tomorrow or Tuesday, me and my dad will dissect it a bit more. Unfortunately, so
Yeah, that is the
Fair
way
play.
it is. Thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate it, mate.
no worries.
Cheers,
Thank
Tyler.
you, guys.
Take care, bub.
And you.
Right, interestingly, a apology has just come out from Liam Walsh. Not good enough today. Fan support, unbelievable again. Stick with us. It's a lot of talk, isn't it? But is
It's
there
a
going
lot
to
of
be any
talk.
action?
Yeah, well,
It's all very
Same as
well,
Morris.
just saying the same shit, different day. Carlton Morris is the annoying one because he's the
Yeah.
captain. He's the one that can
Yeah.
enact change, and at the same time, Carlton's
yeah,
looked
yeah.
absolutely
yeah,
pish,
yeah.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been awful.
I'm getting annoyed with it now because he spends most of his time sitting on the floor arguing with the referee, and you know, I get it. He's out of form and everything else, and he shouldn't be the captain anyway. For me, a number 9 should never be the captain. He's in the wrong position, but regardless, you know, he is. But yeah, it's how many times he said it. You know, we need to see some fight. Well, you know, do something about it, as you said. You know, you're captain. Start shouting at players. Interesting couple of points. What was I going to say? Yeah, Wedge says. Oh, hi, Wedge. Depending on if any players are back from injury next weekend, do we give Makosa a start? I would, by the way, based on what we saw second half, seemed miles better than Anderson. Not difficult. No, it wasn't difficult, but he tracked his runner. No one got in behind him, I don't think at all. The only dodgy moment was again down to Kaminsky not being proactive off his line. I certainly would start him. I don't see the harm there. And I can't see both Burke and McGuinness suddenly being fit. But yeah, if they were that close.
Burke's not going to be fit. Forget
Well,
about Burke. He's
exactly. So
we're not seeing him this season.
There.
Mengi's not going to be back. Mengi's not going to want to
No.
play because it's going to impact his move.
His big move. Where's that to then? Stevenage?
No, he'll get a championship team. Mengi will.
Yeah.
You know, he would have got a continental team. Maybe he might still get a continental team. Continental
Might
football
do.
is not all that, is it? He'll get a move somewhere. He might even go to Turkey. There's some big money going around Turkey or Saudi Arabia. Somewhere he can just go and play his base, essentially, because I think that's all he cares about. Absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, top to bottom, shambles. There we go. That's the theme of tonight. Okay, I thought it was your dressing gown. It's sort of close. Yeah, it covers as a hoodie, right? So it's slightly less. I don't give a shit than a dressing gown would be. Just so you know. But it's quite warm.
And this is just a jumper, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing special here.
This is Primark, by the way. If
That's
you're interested,
nice.
anyone.
That's nice.
Yeah. Cozy. Too cozy.
Very nice. Yeah, it looks good. I have to get one of those. But that's us done. You know, we've done an hour. Sorry guys, I go on for longer, but this is depressing, and I've been up since 4 a.m, and as you can hear, my throat isn't all that good. So thank you all for tuning in. Remember, subscribe to the channel. We do Luton Town and Championship content. It's a good time. There's the post-match reaction. It's in, well, I'll put it in the comments when this goes, well, you can find it on our channel. I'll stick it in the comments for when this goes on playback. But everyone, take care. And yeah, as always, come on you Hatters. League One, E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Back to League One we go. Yeah.